Today, the House Oversight Committee is holding a hearing on the 23andMe bankruptcy, addressing privacy and national security concerns. Joining us right now ahead of the proceedings is Representative James Comer of Kentucky. He is the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. And Congressman, thank you for being here this morning. Let's talk a little bit about what you're hoping to hear. You've got Ann Wojcicki, the founder of 23andMe, coming up. What are your concerns when it comes to the data that they hold from these millions of Americans?
Well, it's very concerning. As you said earlier, it's a data privacy and national security concern, which is why we've launched an investigation. We're concerned that the company that's purchased the assets has very close ties to China. The Chinese Communist Party is actively engaged in spying. They're actively engaged in stealing our intellectual property. They've used data. Sensitive data before with respect to selling to companies and others that have used it against the American consumer. So this is a very serious issue, and we're going to try to hear from the starter and the founder of the company and see what exactly is going to happen with these assets.
Are you talking about Regeneron or TTAM?
Well, Regeneron has very close ties to the Chinese Communist Party. We're very concerned about that. We're not accusing anyone of any wrongdoing, but we know that they've had deals before in the past that were partially funded by Chinese Communist Party linked entities. So that's a concern. Again, I think that we talk about it all the time. China's spying techniques, their theft of our intellectual property, of our patents, of our data. And this is ground zero for that. When you look at what does China do with this sensitive data, they've sold it to companies. They've used it adversely against Americans. This is similar in some ways to TikTok and the spread of propaganda. We are taking this very seriously in Congress, and hopefully we can learn more about what's going to happen to American sensitive data that's in limbo in this bankruptcy proceeding.
Mr. Chairman, I want to be clear on this. I am somebody who did a 23andMe swab, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. I have concerns about it, too, about what happens to my privacy, what happens to my genetic material with this. But, Regeneron is a company that we know well. Lynn Schleifer has come in here repeatedly on Squawk Box. It's been a friend for a long time talking about mm-hmm. things. When you say close links to the Chinese Communist Party, you just mean they've done business with them in the past?
They've done business with different Chinese entities in the past. Again, I'm not accusing them of wrongdoing. I'm just saying we have concerns. We have concerns with lots of American companies that come on Squawk Box all the time that do business with China. For many years, it was encouraged to do business with China, to grow and expand. But what we've faced over the last few years is an adversarial China, a China that continues to not play on a level playing field with respect to trade. They continue to steal our intellectual property and our patents. So, again, we're not accusing Regeneron of any wrongdoing. We just want to know that China's not going to end up with this sensitive data and use it in any type of blackmailing scheme or sell it to any type of insurance companies or do anything to harm the innocent people who did exactly what you did and use the 23andMe platform.
You should be concerned with the companies that don't come on Squawk Box.
That's right,
Congressman, not the ones that do come up to the withering questioning. Interesting piece in the Journal on what all presidents. I guess I should have known this, Congressman, but talking about the Autopen and your investigation in Biden. I mean, you think any president's ever read the entire bill of something that he signs? And I mean, they got so many people working for him saying, look, we're going to do this. We're part of the administration. Look, Mr. President, we think we should do this. Put your signature here. Is this totally qualitatively different what you think was happening during late stage Biden administration?
Absolutely. I mean, you look,
totally
there's no question. There's no question that the president's mental competency is in question now, whether it's on CNN or any other network. You've got the Tapper book. You've got Jean-Pierre with her book and just some tidbits about what's going to come out on that. So there was a real question as to who was making the decisions in the White House. It's been used. There's precedence for using the Autopen. There's no question about that, Joe. But at the end of the day, the Autopen was used on everything. And in the past, Obama used Autopen once when he was out of the country, and it was deemed sufficient. But what we have here is a situation of not whether or not you can use the Autopen, it's who was actually given the authority to use the Autopen. And if you look at the amount of executive orders, not to mention the pardons that were issued in the last 100 days of this administration, at a time when it's publicly known that Joe Biden wasn't in the White House, and according to more information that's coming out from leakers and former aides, he was being shielded by a very few staffers and prominent cabinet secretaries like Pete Buttigieg didn't even get to see him at a time when he was making significant executive orders pertaining to energy, pertaining to the federal workforce. Many would argue many of these executive orders were used to Trump-proof this administration, because a lot of the issues that President Trump's having in court stem from some of these executive orders that were signed using the Autopen in the last 100 days when Joe Biden's mental fitness is in serious question.
The Autopen was first patented in 1803. It's been used by world leaders all over the place.
Right. It's not whether or not you use the Autopen. Did he know who was using the Autopen? Was his name forged? Does he have any idea the executive orders that he was signing? That's the question. It's not whether or not he can use the Autopen. There were questions that were raised like that during Reagan's second term as well. Well, and again, I think that's going to be an issue moving forward, the age and mental fitness of presidents. You have check and balance in the 25th Amendment. Obviously, that wasn't considered seriously that we can find. But the question remains, who was making the decisions? You can't have an unelected bureaucrat using the president's signature to make major executive orders. That's not legal, and I don't think any liberal Democrat would come on any show and argue that.
I agree with that. Are you suggesting, though, that there should be an upper age limit for the presidency?
Well, I mean, I'm for term limits. I have a lot of ideas that fall flat in Congress, but at the end of the day, I think that we need more transparency. One reason we're bringing in Joe Biden's doctor, Dr. O'Connor, we're going to ask him a lot of questions. He received a subpoena last week. We expect him to answer some questions. We have a member of Congress, Ronnie Jackson, who is his predecessor. He was the White House doctor for the first Trump administration. He's now a member of Congress. He's going to advise us during the deposition on questions to ask. When it came out that Joe Biden had a later stage prostate cancer, most medical professionals have suggested that this just didn't happen, that this had to accumulate over several years. And the doctors come out and said that, well, he never tested Joe Biden for prostate cancer. I find that hard to believe.
You see what
we're going to ask questions about that.
I looked up the data because I said the date, and I said, no, I can't, because I remember 2014. I said, it's impossible. But it's 2014 is what they're claiming. The last time an 80-year-old man had a prostate, that's impossible. That's impossible.
It is impossible. And they check for everything with the president. I mean, this is the most diagnosed person, or supposed to be the most diagnosed person in the world. He has a whole medical team that follows him around. I was at Trump Doral a few months ago playing golf. President Trump was a few groups in front of me. He had carts with medical professionals following him around. I mean, the president doesn't go anywhere without a huge team of medical professionals that test him, weekly for things. And if you're a man that age and you're not being tested for prostate cancer, it's very hard to believe, Joe.